Hi everyone, Elizabeth here for 40 and Fish, and I thought that I would go over 5 types of fish that I don't have, but I would like to have in the future. And these are kind of my dream tank setups. And as you can see, I'm not in front of my fish tank right now because I'm trapped by a sleeping baby. So we're gonna have to use some green screen magic in just a second. All right, at number 5, I'm going to rank these from 5 to 1. Geophagus. So this is a wide range of fish. The one I want, I believe, is Geophagus tapajos, just like a redhead Geophagus. This one, I forget what it's called. I think it might be like a threadfin of some sort. But in any case, any of the Geophagus, I've always wanted a Geophagus tank. The problem is space, and that's going to be a common theme for me. You need to have large tanks. I know for most of them, they are 55-gallon plus, if not more. I think a lot of them recommend 75 really plus to 125. The other problem is I love planted tanks, and as you can see, this guy isn't a planted tank, but usually they don't do so good in planted tanks. Why? Geophagus, they're earth eaters. So what they do this neat little trick where they take sand in their mouth and then they sift it through their gills, and it's really cool to watch. Love them. Every time I've seen them in a shop or at someone else's aquarium, like, I love them. They're beautiful, beautiful fish, and they get big though, and yeah, and I don't have the space. All right, my number 4, what I would like is a beta sorority. This was the only stock photo I could find that had multiple beta fish in it, and it's pretty much like CGI to male beta fish, but beta sororities don't involve any males at all. They're female betas put together, and yes, you can have multiple female betas put together. The key is that you need a large tank, and common theme here, large tank, and you have to have dither fish usually, and lots of blocks like wood and big plants, just to kind of block line of sight, because they are still aggressive fish and they will go after each other. And many people talk about beta sororities failing, where they'll be okay for even a full year, and then all of a sudden one female just decides that she's going to be tank boss and she's going to terrorize and kill the rest. So that's why it's number 4, because they're so difficult. I have heard that the more females you have in a tank, the better odds of it going, versus if you only have 4 or 5. I don't know. It's something that I need to research more, and I think more people need to do, that I need to watch them do before I get into it. All right, this is where y'all are gonna think I'm a weirdo, because no, this is not a flower horn, and no, it's not Oscars or anything like that. But this is a fish that you can only have it in its own tank, and I believe like 75 gallons up, but really you should have like 125 dedicated to this fish. And it is a red devil fish. It is mean, it is aggressive. However, I saw these for the first time way back in 2018, and they come in some unusual markings. This one is pretty much the standard what you usually get. They're kind of ugly, but I swear these fish are the most personable fish. They come up to the glass. They follow you around like puppy dogs. And I know Oscars tend to do that, but every red devil that I've seen is very much personable like that, and it's really cool. But they are aggressive, and you can't have anything really with them. Maybe a common pleco, and that's about it. The other issue is, once again, I think there's issues with plants, and so you just have to have this pretty much huge tank with nothing in it except for this fish. And that's kind of my issue with these big monster fish that people like to take. So I probably will never get a red devil. I don't see, unless like I win the lottery overnight, maybe then I will. But I just don't get the appeal of having a bare tank with one fish in it. But that's just me. I like to look at a lot of stuff, what's going on in a tank. All right, at number 2, and feasible for me, I will have this one day. It's just going to be a while. and that's a discus tank. So discus, there's kind of multiple problems with discus. One, a tank. Now I know online 55 gallons of people will say you can have a couple of discus in there, but discus, it's the more the merrier. You really need to have more. Plus, really, if you really look into it, 125 is about what you want. And one day I will have this tank, 125 gallon tank with discus in it. The other problem with discus is they're not the hardiest fish. They tend to need softer water, and they need very high temperatures, like 80 plus degrees. So it takes a lot of work for these guys, but God, look at those colors. It is so worth it. And I love discus. I think they are the most beautiful fish in the hobby. I really do, in the freshwater hobby. And one day I will have discus. The other problem is that the fish themselves are super expensive. They are super expensive. For the really nice varieties, you're looking at paying $100+ a fish. And I just don't know that I can keep it alive the first time I'm ever getting discus. So even if I do get a discus tank, the first discus that I'll get, I don't think are going to be those high, very special types. And finally, last but not least, I know I'll never get this, but I want a Bass Pro Shop tank. Yes, everybody wants to dive into these things. I don't know why. I see the appeal. It's a large body of water in the middle of a store. I guess you want to jump in. However, I have always been fascinated at zoos, at natural history museums that had these cold water tanks. And I love being able to see the trout, the bass, and everything, the sunfish, and everything in there. I love it. And I love seeing what's in my own backyard. I'm very passionate about native fish, and I think we have a lot of fish here in North America that we're really underutilizing. The problem is these guys usually need a massive tank, and we're talking about monster tanks, like the type of tanks you have to plywood build a tank for. And then on top of that, you have to run chillers, which are super expensive to run and to buy, let alone that. So I will never have this tank. This is just a pipe dream. I would love this, and also I've heard that the fish at Bass Pro Shop and Cabela's aren't always treated the best. So I'm not saying I want the exact tank, but I want a cold water tank with big fish in it. That's all a girl can ask for. Anyway, that's my top 5 tanks that I don't have that I would want to have one day. 2 of those are probably possible. Tell me in the comments below what type of tank that you don't have but your dream tank is. Just tell me what your dream tank is at all. And let me know if you have any ideas for future videos. I've got a few, but I'm always open to any ideas or suggestions. Thanks, and have a great day.